Hi, this is day 12, Mastering Astral Projection. Today, it's fairly routine. We're looking at, I'm looking at this book over here. So, the entire body for 5 minutes, breath work, deep breathing for 5 minutes. Optional is leg work. I did a little bit of footwork. I'm doing the stirring action and the sponging action. Energy body bouncing for 5 minutes. Optional arm work. Again, I did hands, stirring action in hands, and a little bit of sponging. Then doing the energy bouncing in the arms and then in the spine. And today we're adding full body bouncing. So they recommend laying down and putting your arms above your head to do the full body bouncing. I think this is a good idea. What I ended up doing when I first started doing this was imagining that I had this huge ball that would encompass my entire body, and it was bouncing from the top of my head down below my feet while I was sitting in a chair. But I think when you're starting to do this exercise, it is probably better if you can lay down and imagine the bouncing going from the bottoms of your feet all the way to the top of your head with your body straight and your arms over your head, because it takes a little time to wrap your head around sitting and doing the full body bounce. And I had explained to you that I do the sitting with the legs, and I do this angular sitting where it's kind of like a really large ball that is able to encompass the angles of my knees, and I imagine it going in an arc. And it's a lot harder to do that with a full body. That's why I do a giant ball just going up and down when I'm in sitting position. But just to get the hang of it, it's probably better to lay down. I thought I would share this with you too, which is, when we're trying to get this energy stirred up with the bounce, I like to think of it this way. So I studied with Randy Masters, and he talks about the universe that we're in being a blue universe. So if you're at all familiar with the color rays, and how different objects, parts of nature, parts of ourselves vibrate at different rates. Those rates can be related to the visible light spectrum, and you can assign a color to it, which means that certain colors govern certain things. Our universe vibrates at a rate that is in relationship to the blue light spectrum, mathematically. So when I think about this ball of energy moving through my energetic field, I'm thinking about it being blue, kind of like a royal blue with like dusty light blue around it as it moves. And I think about my own body and it moving through my blue body. They also, there is some evidence in research that shows that the mitochondria in our cells also has a relationship to the blue light spectrum, and that energy that initiates cellular division has something to do with this part of the spectrum. So I think about myself and the 40 trillion cells or however many there are in my body as having a relationship to this blue energy. And when I'm imagining the ball of light moving through my field and stirring up my energy, I'm imagining that nothing is static and that ball is actually moving blue light through my body, and I can see it. It's like how you might take a paintbrush and run it along a canvas, and as the paint starts to run out of the bristles of the brush and the stream gets thinner, that's how I see that blue light running through my body, as it's kind of stirring this energy up and creating in my mind, my mind's eye, this kind of wisping, bluish streaking energy. And as I get to the right speed of moving this ball of energy, it becomes tangible, like I can feel it. And so you don't want to go too fast, you don't want to go too slow. So last night's dreams, a bit peculiar. I was at my friend Luis's house, and his house was a two-story house, and the upper story was looking out over an enclosed parking lot, and it was all glass, like a store, except it was a home. And I thought it peculiar, and there was a number of homes there. Theirs was the only one quite like theirs, and it was also the last house on the left, which is a movie, strangely. Um, so I was going to be spending the night there. There was a gathering and people were leaving. I remembered that I wanted to call Mel, but I had to go out to my truck to get my cell phone, and so I walked out in front of his house, and the front of his house was part of a huge plaza that was also a park, and it was nighttime. I remember thinking it was about 11 o'clock. I walked out, and there were people sleeping at the corners of the property under white sheets, and I had to go all the way out to the corner of the property to retrieve my phone. Some action happened out there. I don't recall what it was. I got the phone, I got on the phone and called Mel, and I went back to the house, and I went back to the upper floor where I was going to be sleeping that night, and it was the living room. And I hadn't noticed this about the living room before, but it was filled with television sets, and these were old television sets, analog and transistor cathode ray, whatever they're called, and I they were all tuned to the same channel, and I think they were playing like a music video or something, and they ranged from like 3-inch screens all the way up to like 20-inch screens, and there were probably 15 television sets stacked in different ways, and I thought, oh, this is very clever. It's kind of an interesting way to look at television. So that was the end of that dream. The next dream, I was with my friend Kevin, and he couldn't walk, and he was wearing these boots that kind of looked like ski boots, but they were black. He kind of looked like RoboCop or something. He was standing, but he couldn't walk, so these were motorized to carry him forward, and we were getting onto a bus of some sort that had steps, and I had to remove his boots to help him get up the steps. I removed one of the boots, and he had small pearls and silver threaded balls. These were the balls that remind me that go on body piercing jewelry. So they're balls with these threaded posts sticking out of them, and they fell everywhere, and there must have been 200 of them. And I was like, Kevin, how come you didn't have those contained better? Anyway, so I started picking them up as this girl came down to try and help him get up the steps. And those were my dreams last night. Thank you very much.